Okay, so as I'm roughing in this page and the character's poses, as I mentioned, I try to act it out to get embody that character. So how do I draw? How's my drawing process? So for instance, you can see I roughed in this character. I basically just did what we call like a gesture drawing to get the pose down. It's just basic, and then I'll build upon that. So what I like to do is you can always remember everything you draw, anything you want to draw can always be broken down into simple shapes. For instance, I'll use this character's arm. This is going to be the grandfather that I mentioned. If you look at his shoulder, it's really a sphere right now. And then this part of the arm, the upper arm, is a cylinder, like a paper towel roll. And you could look at the same thing like the elbow joint, almost like another sphere, and another cylinder here for the forearm. And a lot of people always say they have trouble with hands and feet. Hands and feet are really not that hard. Again, if you break everything down into simple shapes, like here's this foot, it's really a wedge. Think of like a doorstop, okay? And then you can build upon that, like, and refine it. You know, it helps to look at human anatomy, the skeletal and muscular structures. So now we have, you know, something that looks more like a foot in a shoe, and I'll continue to refine that and add detail to that as we go along. But the same thing with the legs. This leg is kind of coming at the viewer. You have to think of things three-dimensionally. It's on an angle here. So again, another cylinder like a paper towel roll, and we do what's called foreshortening, which means that, see if this pencil, like you're looking at it lengthwise, but as I turn it towards the camera, and now it looks like the eraser end is bigger because it's closer to the viewer. So that's what we call perspective. So again, I'm just going to continue to rough in this pose to get it how I like it. And then I'll constantly, every time I go back, I make like a little adjustments. I think of like, here's the clavicle bone here, and the trapezius muscle here connects in the back of the head. And then the pectoral muscle going underneath this shoulder muscle, deltoid right here. I know I'm throwing around a lot of these terms you may not be familiar with, but it's good when you're drawing to familiarize yourself with that. If you're drawing humans, or even if you're drawing animals, you would, professor told me way back when I was in school that the difference that separates an amateur from a professional is research and reference. So if you're not familiar with something, look it up. Even if you are familiar with something, still look it up. You know, it may spark